Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer. I'm your host, Lisa Kaslyn, and today we have a special guest. We're talking with Anders Lindstrom. He's the U.S. Director of Communications for Norwegian Air. Welcome, Anders.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So congratulations are in order, I hear. This is the first year that you have been awarded Best Long-Haul Low-Cost Airline in the World by
That's correct.
Skytrax. Yay! Good job.
Thank you very much. We're very proud of that. I'm very pleased because to us, it's one of the most important awards in the industry because it's actually the customers and the passengers who vote. So we're extremely pleased, especially since we have only done long haul for 2 years. So
yeah. Very short time. Well, you know, it seems like your track record in Europe is now following you here to the US. This is very exciting. So it seems like you're really betting the farm on leading the market as a long-haul discount carrier, and you've purchased quite a number of Boeing 787s, if Bloomberg's news reporting is correct. So does this effectively double your Dreamliner fleet?
It pretty much quadruples. So we have 8 787-8 Dreamliners in operation right now, but we have another 30, and they're all 787-9, so even larger aircraft. And they will be coming into our fleet in the next 5 years. So by 2020, we will have 38 Dreamliners. So a lot of expansion plans happening.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay, so talk a little bit about Norwegian's plan. What's your long-term plan, and how is it going to affect us here in the U.S.?
Yeah, if we start just looking at America, so we started flying 2 years ago, and we already have more routes from US to Europe than any other European airline. So and that's just in 2 years. So we're flying already from New York. We're actually the largest international airline at JFK in terms of routes already. So we fly from New York, Fort Lauderdale, excuse me, Orlando, Oakland, San Francisco, and LAX. And as of last week, Las Vegas, and also from Puerto Rico, San Juan, to Europe. And that's Copenhagen, it's Oslo, Stockholm, and London. We're actually the third largest airline operating at London Gatwick.
Wow.
And in May 2016, we also will start from Boston to Europe. And on top of all that, there's a bit of a game changer happening on December 3rd when we start launching service from the Northeast US. So we have from Boston, Baltimore, Washington BWI Airport, and JFK going to the French Caribbean, namely Guadeloupe and Martinique.
My goodness. Well, you know, this is interesting. I was just reading something not long ago, maybe it was last week, and it talked about the competitive nature of getting these routes. I think United has a stronghold in Newark. So how does an international carrier, this Norwegian airline, come into the US and now all of a sudden dominate?
Well, there's a lot of, even though there's a lot of capacity going to Europe, there's still at very high cost and a lot of old aircraft. We're coming in with brand new aircraft, which means operating costs are low, and the fuel cost or the need for fuel is so much less that brings a lower fare that we're bringing to the customer. So it's about 1/3 of what our legacy competitors are charging, what we're charging on brand new aircraft.
That's amazing. Okay, what's not to like about that? Okay, so I've seen this number, $69 from US to Europe. Is that true?
It's very true. So it's not out for sale yet. So our CEO, Björn Kues, was in the US last month, and he was talking about the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. And in 2017, we're actually the European launch customer of the Boeing 737 MAX. That aircraft, and we have 100 on order, 100 of them, will open up a whole new possibility in terms of new routes from the west coast of Europe to the northeast coast of US. So smaller or medium-sized cities going into secondary airports.
Okay.
And with that, he said, and we will have an introductory or launch fare of $69.
My God.
And our CEO is very different from some European low-cost CEOs who say a lot of things. What he says actually will come true. So, but this is 2017. So those fares will probably come on sale in 2016. But he also mentioned that whilst that is the normal fare or the launch fare, round-trip tickets on those flights will be somewhere between $300 and $350, including taxes. So it's still so much cheaper than what you can get right now.
That's crazy. So give me an example of, you're saying Northeast, you said secondary markets. So does that mean that New York would not be included in that?
We're looking at other airports near New York, so maybe
Okay.
not, that wouldn't be JFK, but we'll definitely look at Boston Logan.
Okay.
But
Very
then there's
exciting.
also other airports in between and nearby.
Of course, of course, of course. And we will be looking forward to that for sure. So is it true that, are you still number 3 in Europe, or have you?
We are. We're a
Okay.
bit, so we have Ryanair as the largest
Yes.
low-cost airline in Europe, and then followed by EasyJet. And they have a few years more of operations than we have. So that's why we're a little behind, but we're catching up very quickly.
Yeah, you have a plan in place. I can see that. So aside from the newer fleet and all of that, and I guess, the cost of oil has decreased, and that obviously helps. The timing is good for you. What else is it about Norwegian Air's culture or the way that you do business that is making you so successful and able to compete in this really competitive marketplace?
I think the benefit of low-cost airlines is they come in much later, so they've learned a lot what was right and what didn't work for the legacy carriers, and they also have decades of costs that add up. We come in, we look at very differently, much more innovative, and also in terms of crew bases, for instance, we base the crew where we base the aircraft, so it's much more efficient operation in that way.
Okay.
So, for instance, here in the US, we have a crew base at JFK, we have a crew base at Fort Lauderdale, and we're also looking at crew bases in the future in Boston and potentially LA.
Oh,
And then we have
fantastic.
mostly crew bases across Europe as well.
Okay, very good. So talk about your frequent flyer rewards programs, because our readers and listeners are very savvy when it comes to that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of perks do you offer? Are you in alignment with the mileage based rewards, or is it cost of ticket? How do you do it?
So it's called Norwegian Rewards, and you get cash points for, and what I think makes this program so unique is what it differs from a lot of other airline loyalty programs or loyalty programs in general. There's points and miles, and you always have to calculate it, try to figure out how far am I going to get on my miles or points. With Norwegian Rewards, it's simple. You know your cash points, and their one cash point is equivalent to 1 Norwegian crown. So that's about 8 cash points is $1. And so you
Okay.
know exactly that whenever you want to buy a fare, you deduct your cash points, and you have the exact, instead of figuring out with points or miles, that's how much money you have to deduct from your fare.
Oh, that sounds good. Very easy and straightforward.
Yes. And
Okay.
that's why people love it.
Okay. Is there any credit card play with your rewards system, or no, not yet?
There is in Scandinavia,
Okay.
and hopefully it's coming to America soon. But we're still working on it to make sure when it's launched on a broader scale here in America, that everything's perfect.
Okay, well, fair enough. So before we let you go, are there any deals, anything of particular interest, maybe, in Norway or your neck of the woods, that we should know about if somebody's maybe planning a trip over the holidays
Yeah.
in the new year? What should we do?
So I'm going to go back to the $69 fare. It actually does exist. From Boston, from New York, and from BWI, there are still $69 fares going to both Guadeloupe and Martinique in the French Caribbean.
Ooh,
And we
okay.
fly 7 flights a week from the US to both Guadeloupe and to Martinique in the French Caribbean. And there's still quite a number of $69 fares. If you want to go to Europe, there's still, depending on where you are, from New York or from the East Coast, there's fares from under $200, $169, $199 one way, including taxes.
Wonderful.
And I also think one thing I want to highlight is that we're a low-cost airline, but we also have a premium. And that includes dedicated check-in, fast-track security, lounge access, really comfy recliner seats like you have on domestic first, but even nicer. Full meal service and everything. And they are, if you compare them, they're even cheaper than our competitors' premium economy, even though this is one step above premium economy.
Wow, fantastic. This sounds like a perfect Christmas gift.
I would say so.
All right. Well, listen, this was terrific. I hope to have you on again as you continue to grow and mature. This is wonderful, and we have a lot to look forward to.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Hey, my pleasure. Talk to you soon, Anders.
Take care.
Bye.